Happy Friday night. How is everyone out there tonight? I do have a confession to make. I am not totally well. You may be able to hear it in my voice this evening. I have sort of a sinusy thing going on. It has caused me to have a migraine. My eyes are probably going to look a little bit like squinty. I took a migraine medicine, my allergy medicine, and all that good stuff. So I am here, and they may not quite be completely with it. So if I'm not, please forgive me. I may pull this whole thing off, and everybody will think I'm thinking there was wrong with her. But anyway, let's hope for that. Hello, Joan. Hello, Steve. Steve's in the house. Trucker Steve. Joan is Diamond Girl. Jeannie T found her information and is back in her account. Whoop, whoop. Yay to finding things. Cat Bird, how are you tonight? Alicia B, how are you tonight? How are things out there on the water? Oh, goodness. Lorna, yay. Lorna's here. Kathy G, yay. So glad you guys are all here. Oh, good. That's good. Everybody's saying hello to everyone. So tonight I just wanted to get together with you guys and have a little talk about this new documentary series that came out about it's in regards to the Casey Anthony case. Now, we can do a little deeper dive into the Casey Anthony case at a later point. That is not what tonight is going to be. So if you were looking for me to cover this case from head to toe tonight, no, it's not that night for it. Okay? But I just wanted to get together and talk about this because she is in the news again, and there's been a lot of other channels that have started to cover it. So I thought we would give it a little talk. Good and parked. Awesome. Woohoo. Nice. Are you in Central Time? Which means you have several hours before you have to hit the hay. Tonight I am using my Colorado cup. And I have hot tea. And this one is a Stash strawberry and pomegranate caffeine free. It's Rubios, rose hips, hibiscus, raspberry leaves, natural pomegranate, strawberry, and citric acid. So that is tonight's flavor. Central Time. Whoop, whoop. Hey, Chels. That is my daughter, Chelsea. I have two daughters. My daughter, Carrie, lives close to me. She has been kind of quiet the last couple of weeks because she just finished her finals. So if you're listening, hun, yay. I have the heater off and my fan on. I hope that that does not bother us either. So while everybody is filtering in, how are we doing on the poll? Can somebody tell me what our percentages are on the poll that I put up in the chat? Can somebody tell me what they are, what it says? I can't see it from here. And StreamYard does not let me see the poll. You're not hearing the okay, good. Oh, that's a nice tangy one. It's good. 80 no and 20 yes. Wow. Hello, Shad. How are you tonight? 2 nights in a row. Ooh. I do have earrings. I don't have a necklace. Big D, but not divorced. I know what that means. Okay, so with 20 of you not having seen the new documentary, has any of you seen other channels who have covered a little bit about what the documentary is about? I have, oh, I forgot it. Hold on, let me get it. Oh, sorry, Bubby. Serbs is right here under my feet. He has stayed so close to mommy today. I have a book that I got while I was in Colorado. It is called Imperfect Justice, Prosecuting Casey Anthony. That is one of the prosecutors. His name is Jeff Ashton. And he does this book with Lisa Pulitzer. I still need to look her up. I got this at Little Richard's. I got this, that's a place there that I went to, and I did a video on it that you can find on my channel. And there are a bunch of pictures in this book from the case also. So I am reading that. I've just started it, so not really got anything to tell you about that just yet. Hello, Jody. We're glad you're here. Glad to have you. Welcome in. Chelsea, you watched, what'd she say? She watched, yes, I did watch the body language. The behavior panelist did 2 videos recently, not back to back, on the Casey Anthony, and they did some stuff of her before the documentary, and then they did some stuff from the documentary. And I sent one of those links to Chelsea. It was very, very interesting. Very interesting to see their take on it. I've watched some of this medicine takes my words away, so give me a minute. Some of the news stuff, the clips from the case, and I watched something by Peter Hyatt. He did one. I didn't watch. I have watched his analysis on Casey Anthony, her the wordage that he does. He's a word analyst and handwriting analyst. And I have watched his on this case before, and then he has a newer one that just came out, and I watched that. What else? I watched a documentary that was posted on YouTube, and it was the Marsha Clark. She did this case on her 48 hours investigation. Yeah, statement analysis. That's it. Thank you for the words. And I have started to watch the new documentary. So, full disclosure, I have not seen the whole thing, you guys, but I have started. So let's bring in my hands, and I will show you guys what I have. So yesterday I spoke about this mitt that I made. I'm going to go ahead and make, well, it's kind of dark. I'm going to go ahead and make the other one while I talk to you guys. Once I get some time, I will sit down and put instructions for this on my blog online on my website. I'm using puzzle yarn, and this is a 5-weight. I have not worked out the cast on for 4-weight yet. I've only done it in a 5-weight so far. So I'm going to wrap this around my needle 30 times. And then pinch it right there, and that should be enough to cast on 30 stitches. So for those of you that are not familiar with my channel, I cover crime while doing fiber arts, knitting, crochet, and I like to do that while I talk. Because this is what I do when I am watching TV and stuff anyway, is I knit and crochet while I watch true crime. And I'm doing the long tail cast on. I do have videos for how to do this on my channel. And these are a size 10. I don't remember what millimeter that is, you guys. Hello, Sandy. Hello, Donna. That's pretty much my opinion too, Sandy. Sure is. I'd like to say hello to those of you that are in lurking. I have some phenomenal lurkers that I really do appreciate you guys very, very much. I also know that I have several people who are awesome, awesome replayers, and I want to say thank you to you guys too. Well, I did that a little bit sloppy. Now we got to count again. Again, I'm casting on 30 with the long tail method. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 26. Man, I am just about, how close can you get there? There's my tail. That is pretty darn close. Okay. Pull some more yarn out here. I'm making a mitt like this one. It's a very, very easy mitt to make. Now we're just going to knit, you guys. Just knit in garter stitch. So that's cast on 30 on a size 10 with a number 5 yarn using the long tail cast on, and we're going to do 36 rows. You refuse to watch the documentary. I understand. If I hadn't been given the ability to watch it myself, I probably would not. I did watch, bits and pieces. But I so far have not paid to watch it. So, okay. I've got a piece of paper here that I will mark down my rows. Now that cast on, this cast on is not a row. This is just your cast on. Hello, Sharon. So Casey Anthony was arrested for lying to police officers, for obstruction of information. She obstructed the gaining of information, and for child neglect. Now, she has done a lot of lying, just like Sandy has said. She's a pathological liar, you guys. Hi, Denny. What I don't understand, when she first started out, and first of all, she didn't tell anybody she's gone. 31 days, and she doesn't tell anybody she's gone. Then when she does say something, she says the nanny has her. And then they get to trial and she changes her mind again. And she says, I'm trying not to make these clink. I'll try to hold them up. We may have to lift this up a little bit. Hold on. There we go. Trying to make it so those won't clank for you guys. So then she gets to trial and she says it's all her dad's fault. She does well, she actually, that's what she's saying now. Now she's saying it's her dad's fault. She got to trial and she said that it was an accident, but that it wasn't her that did it. It was a total accident and she doesn't know what happened. She didn't know what happened. And she had absolutely no emotion for the longest time. No emotion at all. Nothing. Exactly. She would not know the truth unless it bit her, even if it bit her. I know it. Exactly. I mean, okay, so you guys have not watched the new stuff. Just a few of you have watched the new stuff. How much of this case have you seen? Of course, it was huge, you guys. This is another very huge case, right? Another blockbuster case. No, yeah, now I did see that come up, but I have not looked into that. I've not looked into that case that her dad is suing her for defamation. And did that come out after this did, Lorna? I am assuming it did, that it came out after she did this, that after the release of this latest documentary. Hi, Bree. So it was after. Okay. Excuse me just a minute. I have something. I need to get a little something here. Uh-oh, got my yarn on my foot. Carried my yarn all the way with me. It's even on Cerberus's foot. You guys don't know how often Cerberus winds up with my yarn on his foot. I got to get a cracker. You think she's convincing? Of course, I don't know. My bullshit monitor. Oh, you need to watch the behavior panelists. You really do. My bullshit monitor is a lot higher than it used to be. And I just don't. I see a lot of anger. A lot of anger in this new series. Okay. That helped. Oh, what was your question, Chels? What I wonder is, why didn't George come through with defamation before the documentary? They talked about those accusations in trial. See, I don't know. Because I've been looking for this new, what they call this new information, right? And so far, the only thing that I see that is new is that Casey is talking about that her father molested her as a child, and that so did her brother. That's the only thing I see that's new so far. I'm not seeing anything else that's new. Now, I don't remember whether she said anything about that in the trial. That is new, right? She did not claim that he molested her in the trial. Am I right? So that's not new. Because I have not seen all of the trial. What about the brother? Did she claim that the brother in the trial that the brother did it? Exactly. She is saying it so everyone will feel bad for her. That's what I believe this new series is. And I also am wondering, so her father has sued her, but she has had 3 other lawsuits against her, and I don't know if those have been resolved yet. She had a lawsuit drawn against her by Texas EquiSearch. Tim Miller was very disturbed because the whole time that he had his crew down there looking for Casey, she knew the whole time that Casey was gone. So he sued her for $100,000, I believe. Now, I don't know whether I don't think he ever won that. I don't think they ever won anything. I don't think anybody's ever won anything against her. She had a lawsuit against her by someone who was named Zanelda Rodriguez. So Zanny, the nanny, someone with that name sued her. She was also sued by the state, and I guess either state or county, whoever ran the operation locally to find Kaylee, that they were suing her because she knew she was gone. So that's 3. And now this one with the dad. But I don't think anybody has won anything against her. Yes, I know there was talk about the cellmate. I don't know. I have not investigated that one. It's possible that that's gonna be in this book that I'm reading. So, I will know more about that once I do some checking it out. Yeah, that's what she says in the documentary, that she was going along with what her dad was telling her. Now, she was charged with first-degree murder, child endangerment or neglect, and a couple other things, 'cause she was found guilty of a couple of things, but I can't remember now whether I think it was the obstruction and something else that she was actually found guilty of. I thought it was interesting that one of the charges that went along with the first-degree murder was the child neglect. If you guys and child abuse. Now, if you guys remember, that is the same as Mark Redwine. He killed his son, Dylan. I covered that case. You can find it here in my playlist for the Stitch and Crime. I have a playlist for all of these, you guys, for the Friday Night Stitch and Crimes. And Mark was charged with the child abuse, and I believe that he was convicted on that and the murder. And it would not be hard to get from the child abuse to the murder in a verdict, in my opinion. And they do they did with both of these cases, they had it as child abuse because they did not have actual evidence in the when they had all the testimony from the um, coroner and the others, the forensics. They could not. The coroner did not give a. The coroner said it was a homicide, but had no manner of death for this. Oh, thank you, Annie. That's good to hear. I have young hands. Well, that's nice. I think that's what happened. There was a lot of that going on, Alicia. I think that's a lot of the the defense attorneys who I believe she was sleeping with Mr. Baez. Everyone believes that she was sleeping with Mr. Baez. That was one of her defense attorneys. I don't know that she was sleeping with the other guy, but I do believe she was sleeping with him. Hi, Karen. Glad to see you. Right? There's a lot of people out there that would like to have that, Steve. How to fool a jury. Absolutely. Although, that is an actual job. Oh, I could definitely see her writing a book after this documentary. Yeah, he was getting jiggy with it. Her defense attorney was getting jiggy with it. I think was. Her boyfriend here is something that was brought up and something that he admitted to in court, but the boyfriend said that he had told Casey that he would not marry anyone who had a child. Now, does that sound familiar? That sounds a lot like Diane Downs from the book Small Sacrifices. She's the one who shot her children in her car and said some man did it, and she shot herself in the arm. I covered that in one of these cases too, also in the playlist. Just saying. Small Sacrifices is the book about it. Well, she claimed they use that the prosecutors used that against Diane Downs also because she was very upset with the guy that had turned he had turned her down. He did not want her anymore because she had children. And if you remember the most hated woman in America, now Casey Anthony thinks it's her, but I believe it was Rebecca Smith. Rebecca Smith is the one who put her children in the car seats and put them in the lake. She was the most hated woman in America, pretty sure. And her problem was that she was married and had children, and she wanted the son of her boss. So we have these kinds of things that it's a pattern, you guys, that we can look at, and it's part of what's called the victimology and the suspectology, the patterns that investigators look at when they look at a case. We're going to talk about that coming up soon in the book on book club. That's what we're going to get into next on that. Susan Smith, thank you. Also, that's on my playlist. Got a lot in my playlist already, you guys. You guys have been here for a lot of Friday nights. And I appreciate it. Yeah. It is a song. And that getting jiggy with that reminds me of the Happy Feet. Susan Smith got me and the Gut Boys were the exact same age when she killed them. And I remember sitting on the floor hugging my boys and crying for that woman. But yes, I know it. I know it. That was something else. Horrible woman. Yes. Well, so is Casey Anthony, you guys. It's my opinion, and I can say it if I want to, but same thing. Very, very self-centered, very, very me. That's what I think. There's a whole lot of that me stuff going on. She shows a lot of anger in this new documentary. She gets that jaw going and accentuates that anger and that disgust. She licks her lips. As we know with body language, there's a little bit to some of this body language stuff, whether you really believe a whole lot of body language or not. She does a lot of licking her lips. That's disgust. She's disgusted with either herself or something. Usually it's disgusted like the media, the world. The whole world's against her, you know. The whole world is against her. She also does this. A lot of grooming. You see her grooming constantly. It's all about her and her making herself more comfortable with what she's trying to make you believe. She's mad at her family. She doesn't live with her family anymore. She went to live with the defense. She went to live with one of the investigators on her defense, and she's been working with that investigator. They gave her some money to get started again, and she looks like she's doing damn great. Been working and all of that stuff. And this investigator, he says, her employer, he says, no, I don't see her as having any problem where she's not, she's not, I trust her and she's not lied to me. She's not done any of those things. And I'm going to tell you what my opinion is of that, you guys. He feeds her and pays for everything. She is not going to screw that up. Why would she screw that up? After everything else, she doesn't have anything else. She doesn't have any place else to go. She says that herself. So obviously, she's not going to bite the hand that feeds her. Well, and she's covered it up now. She covered up this tattoo. She now has a mandala with something on it. I didn't get a good look at it, but she has had that Bella Vita covered up. And yeah, that she did that right after. Hey, Dawn's World. So glad to have you here tonight. I'm so glad. Hello, my friend. She's my Instagram friend. How are you doing? She's an OG, you guys, a Dawn's World. So glad you're here. Appreciate it. Another observation that I have made listening to all of this, it's probably going to also be in the book. But here's what gets me. When they found the remains, Kaylee's remains, it's Dr. G that testified, and also we can get into that later on, but Warner Spitz also testified. But Dr. G said that after the amount of time that she was there, her skull had roots growing in it. So it had been there for a while. They were actually growing in through the skull. But yet her jaw was intact. So her jaw was intact, and then they found this tape, and this tape was intact, and it was just below where they found where the skull was. That tells me I feel the same way Dr. G does about this, and that is that the tape was holding the jaw together, and it finally, in the elements, it didn't have any more sticky left, so it just let loose. That's exactly what I think happened. Makes perfect sense also when you look at the, I follow the science, you guys. Follow the science. Whenever you're looking at some of this stuff, you need to look at what the science is, and you make your decision based on that evidence and that science. Now, if we don't have stuff that is shown to us, if there's some science or some evidence that has not been shown to us, then what we say and make out from the evidence can only be, our opinion can only come from that, from what we're given. And that I tend to look at from a jury's point of view. It's the evidence that they're given. And this jury, there was a lot of circumstantial evidence. But this jury, the only thing I can figure out was that they were looking for hardcore evidence that Casey did something, and they could not definitively, without any sort of beyond a reason of a doubt. So without doubt, that is how our system works. It has to be without doubt, because if there's any doubt, they cannot convict. So you have to keep that in mind. There was no evidence in the yard, near the pool, anything outside. They only had the car. The car was the mother and father went and got the car after it was impounded, and they said it had a smell in it. When they took it in, all of the forensic team said it had a smell in it. The cadaver dogs hit on the trunk. That tells me there was a body in there. That's the evidence. They found a hair in there, but the hair that they found in the car was from a dead person. That person who lost that piece of hair was dead when it came off of their head. It was not a person who was alive and lost a piece of hair, even though the DNA could match Casey. It could not have been Casey, because that hair showed signs of having been, that the person was dead when that piece of hair was in there. That's telling to me, and that was in the trunk. If I had been on this jury, I would have convicted her. Sorry, but I would have. I can't see. I would have argued for it anyway. Now, you can't do anything about the fact that there's doubt. So, had there been doubt, what could I have done? But anyway. So, in one of the things that I watched on the behavior panelists, I will say this: the clips that they used to do their analysis did not include any clips of Casey saying her daughter's name. She never says, in any of those clips, she never says her daughter's name. She only says, my kid. But in this documentary where they took those clips from, she does say the daughter's name. So I just want to clarify that. There's a lot of evidence that Casey resented Kaylee. Now, think about that for just a minute. Casey resented everybody, it looks like. She resents her mother because her mother was controlling. She resents her father because he started to give Kaylee attention instead of her. She resents her friends. She steals from her friends. She lies to her friends. She lies about her friends. She lies to everybody. This is not a reliable, great, easygoing, lovely person. Everyone says that she was sweet and loving to her daughter. And I think that what happened, she began to resent her because she could not go out and have a good time and do all the things she wanted to do. She was tying her down. She didn't like the fact that her father was so close to her, because that meant that he was giving her, affection, and that made her jealous. She was jealous of that affection. Maybe she thought if something did happen to her, maybe she thought it was going to happen to Kaylee. The prosecutor in this case made a very good point also, and that is, You know, oops, what am I doing here? Sorry, I hit a button. Not just the fact that Casey wanted a different life. She was already living a little bit differently. She was already lying. This reminds me of the Halderson kid. The Halderson kid who killed his parents lied to them for years about what he was doing. They had no idea he didn't have a job. They didn't know that he wasn't going to school. They didn't know anything. And this was the case with Casey. She was doing that very same thing. She was telling him about this job. She told him she had this nanny, all of these things that she was telling them. So you have to give them a little bit of a break there. But here's what the prosecutor said. He said, Kaylee was getting to an age where she would now, and it made me think about this because you and I were talking just recently, Chelsea, about Solomon, and he's coming into his own. He's becoming a little man, He has really got a personality, and he's talking and he's telling you exactly what he wants and what he needs and what he thinks. Well, that's the age that Kaylee was getting to be. Here, pretty soon, people would start asking questions of Kaylee and asking her questions about, well, where'd you go? What'd you do? How's Annie, the nanny? How's this? How's that? Did y'all spend the night? Did you have fun? Did you this? She was going to be able to start talking. Couldn't have that. I think that is a very, very good point. Because that is exactly what happens. And tattle on you. There you go. That's what I'm saying. And she's getting to that point where she was going to be of the age to tattle, to start tattling. She would say, Mommy did this, Mommy did that. So someone did ask a question about her stealing from the grandparents. Oh, you answered your own question that Casey stole $45,000 from her grandparents. Yeah, that's not a reliable, decent human. Exactly. She stole her during that 31 days where Kaylee was missing. She had stolen her friend's credit card and was racking up all kinds of things and buying stuff. And none of it had anything to do with the little girl. 31 days. She didn't buy a single thing for her daughter. Not one thing. So what do y'all have to say about this? Does anybody have any questions for me? That's about what I have so far on what I have seen about this case. I'm surprised I made it this far in this. A guilty woman on the run. Now, here's my question to you guys that are here in the chat. If you would please put in the chat if you would like me to do more of a deep dive on this and cover this, I certainly will. And I would really like to cover also EquiSearch involvement in this too. And maybe give you some background there too. And the reason I say that is because EquiSearch is coming into the limelight in more than one way. This case was one that they were involved with. And they were also involved, of course, with the Texas Killing Fields, which is another documentary that is out. And I am going to be watching that this weekend and taking notes on that. Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Chelsea, because as I was telling you earlier, if my child was, or my grandchild was missing, would I go on the news and everything and try to get attention for that? Yes. Yes, we have to get it out there. We got to find them. But that's about it. If someone asked me, we need you to come on and tell your story. Um, I wish I had that button that Duty Ron's got. Beep, beep, you, because I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. And so this arguing on camera, this accusing each other of different things, all of this stuff all this chatter, all of this, you know, 15 minutes of fame stuff would not happen with me. No, wouldn't happen. So why do people do that? Why? Why do they want that attention? Okay? Because they're not totally innocent. They know that they had some part, she lived with them. They had some part in this, and they're afraid that they're going to get in trouble. That is why. That is usually why that happens. In all of these cases, you look at it and see that's usually why. That's my opinion. So, now, as far as the investigation goes, they look at everybody around. That's part of the suspectology. That's part of the victimology. You know, those people in the house were not only close to their suspect, but they were also close to their victim. And they have to look at everybody and they have to decide if there's anything there that will help them to solve the case. Oh my gosh. I know. I know. See, that's people who are covering stuff up. Now, don't forget, that doesn't always mean that people are guilty of what is being charged in that case. They may be guilty of other things that make them feel guilty, that make them feel like they need to do this, like stealing or hiding money or, um, neglect or something else that they could get in trouble for. Doesn't mean they killed the child, but it does mean that there's something they're covering. They're usually covering something up when they act like that. Hi, Susan. Glad you're here. I am just about to go out. I'm starting to kind of drown a little bit in all this gunk. So that's the way I see it. Also, the hearings have started on Murdaugh, on the Murdaugh murders. And I am going to be taking notes and I'm going to be giving you updates about the Murdaugh murders also, because there have been some hearings this week. So that's very interesting. If you guys want to quickly hear what I had to say about that one. Let me see here if I can find my notes. So what I have seen so far on the Murdaugh murders, this was the hearing was today. They were arguing about some evidence. Mr. Murdaugh's lawyers were arguing about some blood spatter evidence that they were claiming was not complete. They were unable to do their own testing on a shirt that Mr. Murdaugh was wearing. The shirt is available, but they claim that it has been ruined by testing that has been done by the state and that they no longer can do their own testing. They're saying that instead they want all of the photographs, all the communications between the state and their experts made available to them, and that quite possibly that they haven't gotten everything. If you see the camera shaking, Serbs is having a dream. So he's shaking my whole bench. You may hear him soon. They want to exclude the shirt and the blood spatter this blood spatter evidence as it is right now. They want access to the SLED sled, and I cannot remember what that stands for. If somebody remembers, let me know. They want access to those experts. The judge granted that order to compel the state that they had to hand those things over, including something about a video presentation on the shirt and a something that was photoshopped. So evidently this was not a true expert who has said that this was blood spatter, and that supposed person, that supposed expert that the state is claiming, and I don't have clarification on that. This is just in the hearing, that this was photoshopped to make it appear where they could see the spots better, and then now they're saying that it is blood spatter. Before that, they didn't say it. It's something about that. A motion of persecution or something where they have to say what their motive is. So the defense has asked they've asked for the state to claim what the motive that they're claiming that Alex Murdaugh's motive was for killing his wife and son. And they actually don't have to. Did you guys know that? Is it ballistics? Oh, thanks, Sharon. Reports came out about the Lopez escape, and the doc is at fault for not searching him properly. That one got past me. Something about ballistics, you think? SLED, the SLED, which is SLED. It is a complex case. Yes, and I would like to cover that while that trial is going on. But basically, here is what the state is saying, that this is just a snippet, this little synopsis, little short synopsis, that it is a case of a slew of white-collar crimes which culminated with these two murders. That is what the state is claiming so far. Not an actual motive, but they went a little bit. I want to go back and take notes on that because I did not take it. I was starting not to feel good. So I need to go back and take notes on it. But they were talking about a little bit about what their case is going to be. So be interesting to go back and take notes on that. Okay, thank you. The State Law Enforcement Division, SLED. Okay, thank you. I believe that is exactly right. Oh, News Nation had a short blurb. I don't follow News Nation anymore. They kind of made me mad on a few things, so I don't just totally follow everything they put out anymore. They got a little bit too, how do you want to say it? I mean, it's news stuff, right? So there's news, and then there's, I can't think of the word. I need another cracker real quick. Sensationalism. They got a little bit too much of that sensationalism in there. Yes, everyone, please hit the like button. Thank you so much for being here. Yet I definitely don't like speculation. I have my opinions, and I will tell you it's my opinion. Okay, you guys, I love y'all. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. I hope to see you on Sunday. One of the things I want to do on Sunday, I have the things that I got from the Bath and Body Works sale. If you are at all interested in Bath and Body Works, not candles, this is all the body care stuff. Come see me Sunday and I will show you what I got, if that's interesting to you guys. Good to see you. I love you, Chels. I love you, Carrie. I love you, Sailor. I love you, Solomon. I love you, Oliver. They're probably not watching this one, but I love them. I love you, Mr. Fiber. They're Serbs. He's out from under. My Serby boy. He has been right at my feet today. He knew I didn't feel good. Okay. Love y'all. I don't know whether I'll get this back here changed up this weekend or not, but I'm going to try. Have a great night. Have fun today and eat more plants. Bye, everybody.